Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are working on Module 11, Lesson 8 today. And Module 11, Lesson 8 is called Conditions on Measurements that Determine an Angle. Okay, so let's go over here. Oh, a triangle. Sorry, not an angle, a triangle. So let me say that title again. Conditions on Measurements that Determine a Triangle. The goal for today's lesson is today we will learn what conditions of measurement make a triangle. So in that goal, what I want you to focus on is, number one, we're still trying to figure out what makes a triangle unique. But I also want you to remember that we've been talking about conditions. And our next condition that I'm sharing with you today is focusing completely on measurements. So I want you to think about that. What are the things that we've been working on that require you to be aware of measurements? Okay, so our question for the lesson is, what condition must be true about angle measurements in order to determine a triangle? And I know that in class we've had a lot of discussion about this. If it's a triangle, then it's a certain amount of angle measurements. Hopefully that's jogging your memory. The measurement condition is known as side length and angle measurement. So those are the two components of the measurement condition. Side length is the sum of the two shorter lengths must be greater than the longest side of a triangle. So let's talk about that for just a minute, because if you don't have an idea of what I'm saying, this condition can be very confusing. So what we're saying is, if you have a triangle that looks like this, what this condition is saying is that the sum of the two shorter lengths, so this side and this side is shorter than this is shorter than this, so this condition says the sum, so that means we're going to take this side length plus this side length, the sum of the two shorter lengths must have a greater value of the longest side length of the triangle. So A, in this instance, plus B has to be greater than the length of C. Okay, so if I put numerical values in there, let's say that this was 2, let's say that this was 4, and let's say that this was 5. So in order for this to be a true triangle, because if this is not true, it will not be a triangle, and in your practice, you're going to try to build them with these not being correct, and the triangle will not work. But what this is saying is the shorter leg plus the shorter leg must have a sum that is greater than the third leg. So 2 plus 4 equals 6, so 2 plus 4 is greater than 5. And we know that's true because 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 is greater than 5. And so what you're going to be practicing when you get into class is you're going to have to draw these triangles with these limits or these qualifications or these conditions, and you'll notice that if these two added together are not bigger than this one, there will be something wrong with your triangle. So the side length condition in measurement is really, really, really important. Okay? The second one of this is the angle measurement. And the angle measurement that we have is, it's all built on the discussion of how many degrees make up a triangle. So the angle measurement says the sum of two angles must be less than 180 degrees in order to make a triangle. So an example of this one is, let's say, and again, I'm drawing freehand, so please know it's not drawn to scale. But let's say that we have 57, 90. So what this is telling us is that the sum of two angles must be less than 180. So if I take 57 and 90 and I add them together, I get 147. Is 147 less than 180? And the answer is yes. Okay? If you had a triangle that was drawn like this, and I tell you that this angle is 150, 60, and I tell you this angle is 35, could this, and again, this is not done to scale. I did not use any tools. Could this ever work? Well, let's check. It said a sum of two angles has to be less than 180. And the reason why I was able to draw it is because I didn't use any tools. If I had used tools, which you are going to do with your practice, you will see that it will not work. But let's try it and see. 0 plus 5 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, and 1 plus nothing is 1. So these two angles all by themselves already exceed the total number of degrees of the triangle. So this triangle is not possible, is what I'm trying to show you. So not correct. This is not a triangle. Now some of you are going, well, Mrs. Nelson, you drew a triangle. Yes, you watched me draw it. Did I use any tools? No, I did not. So I don't know if this truly is a 35. I just used it as a for example. When you do your practice in class, there's not going to be any freehand. They're going to give you the criterion to draw, and then you're going to see if these two conditions are true. Okay, that's what the practice in class is going to be. Okay, so I would like you to practice a couple of problems on your own, and we will check them in the morning when you get here. The practice is draw a 5 centimeter segment, a 1 centimeter segment, and a 3 centimeter segment. You are trying to construct a triangle with those measurements. I would like you to try to draw it over here as evidence using a tool and see what happens. That's the first one. The second one that I would like you to try and draw, remember it has to be drawn to scale, you do have to use your tools, and you do have to show me if it works or not. The second one I would like you to try is draw a 40-degree angle and draw a 140-degree angle and tell me what shape comes out when you draw that. Okay? So these two practice problems are testing whether you understand these two conditions up here. Okay? So I think you're going to start to see how all of this is coming together to make sense in your mind. Our goal for today. Today we will learn what conditions of measurements make a triangle. The question that you need to be able to answer tomorrow as well is, what condition must be true about angle measurements in order to determine a triangle? And then you have these two practice problems down at the bottom. And that's all I have for you tonight in the video. Thanks so much. Bye.